Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here. It's rating the two-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports, daily fantasy sports slates. Before I get into the analysis, I do want to say thank you guys again for all the support. Seriously, on the YouTube channel, live streams on Twitter, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Currently, right now, at 4.62 thousand subscribers. The easiest way to support me is, since all the content is free, is leave a like button on the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell, and spread the word. If you have friends that play DFS and you like the content, you're making money, spread the word. Would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you cannot watch the videos, YouTube videos, I do upload on Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below, which is the DK DFS show. With that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we get into players and prices for this two-game slate, let's take a look back at my lineup here for Wednesday's slate. So this is my final lineup. I went with Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, Middleton, Crowder, Bam, Chris Paul, Gordon, and Noel. So I was pretty high in the Miami guys. I mentioned that I had 4 in my lineup. Dragic was the thumbnail to my video. Still, people are avoiding him, even at 6'9", but he was one of my favorite plays, one for 40 fantasy points. I mentioned I was going to Hero, because I knew he'd be low owned. He was really solid, 5.3K, 30 fantasy points. I'll take that all day. I told you guys I was going balanced. I was not playing Giannis. I was not playing Harden. I played Middleton more than fine at 8-1. Crowder was my favorite value play, and in my core, he went for 32.5. My core was Dragic, Crowder, CP3, and unfortunately, Bam, he only played, I think it was 33 minutes. He did foul out at the last minute, but still, he wasn't on pace. He was on pace for 4 or 5 less minutes in the last game, which hurt a little bit. So, do I regret playing Bam in a buyout? No. I was playing the balanced approach all the way. So, it was just like a super balanced attack from Miami. Like, everyone stepped up. Kelly off the bench. Hero played well. So, Bam and Jimmy kind of weren't great, but I did not trust the value on the slate, so that's why I went there. No regrets there on Bam. It allowed me, again, I wanted to play Chris Paul. He's starting off decent. Eric Gordon as well. And then Noel, I'm not excited about the play, but I needed someone super cheap. So hopefully it gets me like 10 to 12 fantasy points. That's all I really need. Am I tilting about the early 3 steals and 1 block for Robert Covington chalk? Yes. He's probably going to end up with like 8 steals and 8 blocks. He continues to, I mean, he's a good defender, right? But come on with all the, like, he had 5 steals and 3 blocks last game as chalk, and now he's already had 3 steals and a block in the first quarter. But yeah, that's a look back. So in the cash right now, we'll see if it holds. Hopefully CP3, Gordon, and Noel, hopefully he doesn't kill me. But all right, let's talk about this two-game slate. So Raptors, Celtics, Boston up 2-0. So this is basically do or die time now for Toronto. It's a 215 over under. Raptors are 1-point favorites. And we get game 1 of Nuggets Clippers. It's a 223 over under. Clippers are 8.5-point favorites. So I think we have to, slightly consider that, the blowout chance in that late game. Denver, in my opinion, are outmatched by the Clippers talent-wise, but that doesn't mean they're going to get blown out. I just think we have to. You have to weigh that. It has to be in the back of your mind that there's like an outside chance that it can happen. So let's start with center today. And Nikola Jokic is at 9.5. Well, what you're going to get on Nikola Jokic is about 40 minutes a game and a really high floor. Like, he probably has a floor of like 40 fantasy points as long as the game doesn't blow out. Ceiling, I would say 55 to 60. He's a do-it-all guy. I like playing. He had a really good Game 7 there when 158 points were scored. Total. 80 to 78. That was literally the worst game I've ever watched. But Jokic was the one standout in that game. I think that will raise his ownership. Now, Jamal Murray, who's a lot more popular, the ownership's going to drop after you let a lot of people down. So are you willing to go to Jamal Murray? The range of outcomes of Jamal Murray are so high. The floor of about 20, ceiling about 80. Jokic is more of the safer option if you're going for a Denver stud. I think he's got a floor of about 40 if the game doesn't blow out, with a ceiling of like 55 to 60. So if you're playing a Denver guy and you're going for more of you just want the safety, I think it's Jokic. He still has upside too. Like, don't get me wrong, Jokic still has 55 to 60 fantasy point upside. Ibaka's at 6'1". I think he's playable. He played a few extra minutes because Gasol fouled out. He'll play 20 to 25 minutes. He's just been an amazing point per minute guy. I mean, we have to take into consideration what he's doing. And he's putting up good games, too, against a tougher Boston team. Like, I think he's playable. He has just really, really been playing well off the bench. He's still, in my opinion, slightly overpriced, but I don't think he kills you. Am I going to get to Ibaka? I don't know right now. But I think he's at least playable. Last few slates I've actually ruled him out, but he's been good against Boston. So I wouldn't rule out Ibaka there at 6'1". I don't think my favorite play first price, but definitely in play and has upside, right? Because he's a really, really good point per minute guy right now. Daniel Theis at 5'3". I think he's a pretty good play in the mid-range here. He'll play 25 to 30 minutes. Not a super high usage guy, but I think he probably gets somewhere between 20 to 30 fantasy points. And at this slate, I think it looks pretty decent for his price. So, yeah, I kind of like Daniel Theis. I think the ownership will be up. He's been good last couple games, but I think he's certainly in play here. Zubac is a guy that I like for GPPs. What are his minutes going to be like? They've been all over the place. I know some games are blowouts, but he could play anywhere from like 18 to 30 minutes. Now, we know Denver runs big, so does he play 30-plus minutes? He could. I don't know what Doc Rivers is going to do. We also have Pat Beverly coming back, which kind of takes a hit to Shamet Reggie Jackson. So the Clippers are kind of a headache to try to figure out the value. And Zubac's minutes have been all over the place. I think he's playable. And if he hits the higher end of his minutes range, if he gets close to 30, I think he can definitely get you there at 4.8. But there's no guarantee of those minutes. And Montrez is a guy I'm going to fade. Unless something happens to Zubac, he gets in foul trouble. I think he only plays 15-ish, 15 to 20 minutes. Just not enough for me right now. And he's just not. That one blow-up game he had was in complete garbage time. Like, that was against, like, the backups for Dallas. So I'm just not getting to Montrez. He's been popular, too. People have continued to play Montrez. I will continue to fade. Marc Gasol's at 4.2. For a slate that doesn't have a lot of standout value, I think he's a guy that looks okay. Well, we're going to get probably close to 25 minutes, and he fouled out at the end of the game there. Not a guy that's going to break the slate, but at 4.2, I don't think he's going to absolutely kill you either. So I kind of like Gasol here as a value option. Robert Williams, I mentioned him as my favorite value play last slate. 18 minutes, 17 fantasy points. He's at a really good point per minute guy, and right now, he's playing 15 to 20 minutes. So at 3.6K, he is for sure in play. Now, I think Gasol might be slightly safer as a value option because he'll play more minutes. But don't rule out Robert Williams. And you can play both. I played both Gasol and Robert Williams last slate. I think that's viable. But then you can't get to a guy like Jokic. So it's all about, how are you going to work with your roster construction. But I like both those cheap centers. I think they're two of the better value plays in my opinion. Cantor is not in the rotation. Don't play him. Plumlee won't play enough minutes for me to consider. And that's it. So let's talk about power. Oh, I guess last guy I will mention, Boucher was actually in the rotation. He played a little bit. How many minutes did he play? 9 minutes. He's min price. It's a complete shot in the dark, but Boucher can get, 12 fantasy points in 10 minutes. I'm not going to do it, but, maybe if you're making 150 lineups, you could, take a shot on him in, one. Because we've seen, he is an amazing point per minute guy. Power forward. Tatum's at 9.2. I think he's a safe play right now at his price. The minutes will be there. Went for 55 last game. I just think he's slightly underpriced right now. So he's been in foul trouble, though, in a few games in that Phillies series. That is a slight concern. He has been, again, a couple games missed out in big minutes because of foul trouble in the back of my mind. But right now at his price, I think he looks pretty solid. I think he will be a lot higher owned than last slate because last slate he was only 20% owned. But yeah, I think Tatum looks good. Siakam, I was a little bit surprised. He played 43 minutes and was actually really good. So the price went down $100. If he's going to play 43 minutes a game, then at under 8K, Siakam is 100% in play. I have interest in all three of the Toronto main guys, Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and Lowry. And I think they come back strong in this game after losing the first two. I think Toronto wins this one. I like all three of the main Toronto guys. Marcus Morris is another guy in the mid-range that I like. He's going to play probably 30 to 35 minutes. I don't think he's going to kill you, and he's been playing relatively well. Played well in that Dallas series. So I think Morris is like Morris and Tice in kind of the mid range. Those are probably the guys I would look to on this slate. MPJ, I mean, he played so well offensively in 17 minutes, but only played 17 minutes. He scored 27 fantasy points in 17 minutes. Mike Malone does not like playing him. And if he's not playing well defensively, which he's not a good defender, Malone will pull him. So this is the definition of a GPP play. MPJ can play anywhere from 15 to 35 minutes. If he hits the higher end, if he gets close to 30, 35 minutes, he could have a really good day for his price. But are they going to keep him out there? I have no idea. So again, strictly a GPP play. But he is a guy that probably has the most upside in this range if everything goes well and he gets like 30 to 35 minutes. OG Anunoby's at 5-1. I think he's another guy that looks pretty good in the mid-range. We'll get 35-ish minutes. He had a good scoring day too. I mean, I think his range of outcomes are somewhere between 20 to 30-ish. He had 32, which I think is more of his high end. But yeah, on this slate, I think those OG, Tice, Marcus Morris, all in that mid-range, I think look pretty safe. Pretty good options. Jeremy Grant's at 4.9. He's viable. He had a terrible last game there. I mean, everyone did. He's still a guy that can go for 30 plus. He'll be a lot lower owned just because people look at that last game. He's still in play because the minutes will be there on him. So don't completely rule out Jeremy Grant. His ownership will be low. Millsap's a guy I'm going to avoid though at 4.3. It's just the minutes are not there. There's not there. So I'm not playing Paul Millsap. Not playing Semi Ojeleye or Grant Williams or JaMychal Green. We don't have to do that. So let's talk about small forward. Kawhi Leonard's at 10.3. I think he's going to be popular. I think it's for a good reason. I mean, he has been amazing in the playoffs. He has really been their go-to guy, so consistent, 50-plus every single night. The one thing you have to have in your back of mind is I think there is a slight chance this game could get out of hand. Slight. But if everything goes right and we get 40-ish minutes from Kawhi, I think he has a really, really high floor. So if you're going for that safety on the slate, I think Kawhi's your guy. Obviously, the upside is still there, too. So absolutely no issue there with Kawhi Leonard. I already talked about Tatum. Paul George is more the contrarian play. Had another bad shooting day. Has had one good shooting game in 25 minutes, went for 42 fantasy points. The other game so far in the playoffs, he has shot the ball terribly. It's just, yeah, he's not been shooting the ball well. If he does, he has upside to go for 50-plus if the game stays close, easily. So it's a riskier play, right? Kawhi is the safer option for sure, but he's also $2K more expensive. So all about how you're kind of attacking the slate. If you're going for the safety, go Kawhi. If you can't get to Kawhi and you want a GPP contrarian play, I think Paul George is your guy at 8-2. Jaylen Brown's at 7-4. He got some ownership the last slate because Ford was really, really thin. There was not a lot of good plays. Kind of got bailed out with 3 steals and 2 blocks. I'm going to pass on Jaylen Brown. He can still get you there, but I prefer Kemba Walker. Even though Kemba Walker shot absolutely terrible, I just think the floor is much higher on Kemba, and I think the ceiling right now is just higher on Kemba too. So Brown's probably not a guy I'm going to get to. Mentioned Morris, mentioned MPJ and OG and Jeremy Grant. Powell's an avoid for me at 4.6. Only played 13 minutes the last game. He could come out, and if he shoots the ball really well, play 25 to 30, but it's just you're not getting him at enough of a discount for me to even take that risk. Shamet has been playing huge minutes, but we have Pat Beverly back. So I'm worried about Shamet's minutes. I have no idea what Doc Rivers is going to do with this rotation. If Beverly starts, I'm worried. I'm really worried about Shamet and Reggie Jackson. Again, I literally have no idea what their minutes will be like. So I guess they're still in play, but super, super risky. Like Shamet, I would not be surprised if he played like 10 minutes. I would not. So it's a really, really risky play. I don't know what Doc is going to do. Hopefully we get some sort of clarity, but we probably won't. I mean, maybe if Pat Beverly's on a minutes rotation, you could feel slightly more confident, guys, in Shamet and Reggie, but yeah, it's a risky target for sure. Torrey Craig actually has been decent, played 34 minutes the last game. If he's going to play 34 minutes in this game, then he's playable at 3.6. But will he get those minutes? Well, it's up to Mike Malone. It's either going to go to Torrey Craig or it's going to go to MPJ. I don't know what he's going to do. So Torrey Craig's another risk. If he plays like 20 minutes, he's not going to get you there. If he gets 35, then yes. So it's kind of a headache there. I don't know what Mike Malone's going to do. Again, don't play Grant Williams. Shooting guard, Jamal Murray, 9-3. He's going to go low-owned. He was chalk last slate. Let a lot of people down, including myself. I told you guys, though, I was willing to take the risk. Just had a bad shooting day. He came back down to earth. Right? He was shooting the ball unbelievable. So his ownership is going to drop significantly. And he is 100% overpriced at 9-3. Does that make him out of play, though? No. I think he's still in play because for Denver, you know where the offense is coming from. It's Murray, it's Jokic. And if MPJ is going to be limited, they have no other scorers. So you literally know it's Jokic Murray if Denver keep it close. And Jokic is going to be a lot more popular than Jamal Murray. I mean, I kind of agree he's safer, but Murray's the guy that has more upside. So do not rule out Jamal Murray. My issue with him is he is so up and down, the range of outcomes, right? About a floor of like 20 to 25 with upside of like 80. And it's a tougher spot here. Clippers are good defensively, so don't completely rule out Jamal Murray, but he is strictly a GPP play for me. Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, I like once again. 43 minutes, did not shoot the ball well again. 8 of 22, still put up 40 fancy points. Back-to-back terrible shooting days for VanVleet, 3 of 16 and 8 of 22, and has put up 40 in both those games. I'm going right back to the well with these Toronto guards. I love Fred VanVleet, really like Lowry. Yeah, it's a must-win game. I think they bounce back, they shoot better. I think Fred VanVleet's upside is definitely 50-plus if he's shooting well, so really like the Toronto guards today, or I guess for tomorrow. Smart's at 6'3". He turned it on. It wasn't that fourth quarter where he hit like 2 or 3 straight threes. It's just you're not getting him at a discount. I'm probably not going to do Marcus Smart. Lou Williams is a void for me too. I literally have no idea what Doc Rivers is going to do. He shot the ball terribly, only played 17 minutes. I think if he comes off the bench and shoots well, he can go for 30 minutes, but it is literally just Doc Rivers. You literally don't know what he's going to do. Kind of same with Mike Malone with some of their rotation players. Like Torrey Craig, MPJ, no idea what their minutes are going to be like. Same thing with Lou Williams. And then if Pat Beverly plays, Sham at Reggie, how many minutes are left for them? Probably not a lot. So these secondary Clippers pieces are really risky. And even the center rotation, right? Zubac, 18 to 30 minutes, somewhere around there. We don't know. So he is strictly a GPP play. I mean, you saw the upside. It's 50-plus, but he literally has to come off the bench and he has to shoot well. If he does, then Doc could leave him in, and then he can maybe go for 30-plus minutes. But right now, I just don't think I want to take the shot. Again, not playing Norman Powell. Gary Harris at 4-2. He'll play 25-ish minutes. He's a good defender, but not cheap enough for me to consider him right now. Again, Craig, MPJ, don't know what the minutes are going to be like. It's whatever Mike Malone feels, and it's just too hard to predict right now. Don't play Davis. Don't play Mann. They're not going to play enough minutes. So lastly, point guard. I think Kemba Walker looks really good. He shot the ball absolutely terrible. Started 1 of 12 from the game. Finished 6 of 18. That is horrendous. Still had, not a terrible game for his price, 30 fancy points. Yeah, I would just much prefer Kemba to Jaylen Brown right now. I just think he's a safer option. I don't think he shoots 6 of 18 again. Obviously, if you can get to Tatum, go Tatum. He has the most upside for sure. So I would probably rank these guys Tatum, then Kemba, then Jaylen Brown. Mentioned Fred VanVleet. I mean, I like Lowry too. I like all 3 of the main Toronto guys. The minutes will be enormous on these guys. 40-plus from all 3. Another bad shooting day from Lowry, 5 of 16. Still put up 41 fancy points. I am super high on the Toronto guards. I like all 3. Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and Siakam. I like all of them. Again, I'm not going to get to Smart, not getting to Lou Williams. Monte Morris, another guy that could play 15, could play 30 minutes. At 4-1, it's worth a shot in GPPs, but a super risky play. And then kind of the same thing here with these Clippers cards. Reggie and Shamet have been good value options, but now we have Pat Beverly back. So how many minutes are they going to play? Well, if Pat Beverly, I assume he's going to play because he's expected to play. I think he gets around 20 to 25 minutes. My best guess would be probably 15 to 20 from Reggie, and maybe like 15 to 20 from Shaman. That's just my best guess. I don't know what Doc Rivers is going to do, but definitely makes them riskier. Of the three, if Pat Beverly plays, I think I just prefer Pat Bev. None really stand out as amazing plays. I think the Mets are not going to be huge on any of those Clippers guys. Lastly, Wanamaker was a guy that got a little bit of ownership last year, but only played 9 Mets, so can't consider him. And that's really what I got for this slate, guys. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, hit the notification bell. Also, I will be live streaming 30 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel, so be sure to check out the live stream, guys. I'll go over everything, give you guys a team-by-team breakdown, cash plays, GPP plays, and then answer any questions you guys have at the end. So thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. Hope you guys all have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow in the live.